addressing racial discrimination, this has always been my subject, and then rights and remedies. So practically also, at the same time, judiciary intervention also, policy making level, different components, different types of advocacy I have been making from the grassroots level to the policy making level for almost 2 decades now. So I will just share a few things. And let me start with a question that somebody raised. I don't know if he is still around. He was asking when we were almost breaking for lunch that somebody was calling him Chinese and then something like that. So I don't know if any one of you also face the same kind of situation, because I just wanted to say this, even though if he is here or not, just for your information and through my personal experience. If a person is telling me that, oh, your hair is very nice and straight, your skin is very nice, you look like you're chinky, for example, right? So you're so chinky, and then, you look like this. Then means a person is, I take it that way, okay? In my own opinion, the person do not have any intention, but just that the person is not well informed, is not aware, but the person is thinking that whoever it has this mongoloid features are called chinky or chin, no? They look like that. So that is the person's perspective. That's what I feel. So, I do get to eat really good things. Like I was one day walking in one 5-star hotel, and then they treated me like as they find from Hong Kong. So they said, oh, madam, you're from Hong Kong. So they showed me the table which is for the Chinese and not for the Indians. So I actually took advantage. I smiled and I went. So there are also sometimes advantages. But of course, if they think that you are actually from the Northeast, and then if they started to harassing you that, you go that to China, you are, of course, Nepalese, somebody's community, right? But then they use it very frequently, and then you are Chinky, Chinese, Momo, Chowmin, right? If they started doing that, definitely there is a racial angle in it. But then if they just call you that, you are a Chinese. And the last time, one experience is that my cousin's sister told me that that time she went to call her family, and then when she came out, the shopkeeper asked, how much do you pay for calling up home? And he said, what? She was asking, China man, like that. No, so, these kind of things are not actually, it's a misunderstanding, and also it is not well informed. So these are not actually racial discrimination. There has no racial angle in it. I was just answering your questions. I don't know if you heard it, but half of it, I'm sure you've heard it. So you have to see the intention of the person when those things are actually good for you. And then if it is not provoking. So that's how we should know how to handle it. It depends on the situations, the time, the people, and where you are. So yes, we talk about racial discrimination. I understand all of us we face. Some take it very casually. Yes, we know that the concerned authorities will say this is an isolated case, right? I cannot speak for you, okay, when it comes to this kind of harassment, because the degree, the level of racial discrimination that you face will be different. What I'm facing will be different. Suppose both of us walk in together in one place, I may be treated very well, you may be discriminated. So I do not know, right? So everybody has their own story to tell, okay? So that is how, and then some of you may not say that I'm not facing it, but some are really facing it. So this is how different experiences, but of course, we know that majority of us, we face racial discrimination. And the national attention first time ever was in 2014, when that boy from Arunachal Pradesh, right, was killed. Of course, he was harassed, he was beaten, he was taken to the police station, police brought him back to the same place. More people came, they gang up, and in the streets of Delhi, the capital of India, he was beaten, and then after he reached home, he died. So actually that has caught the national attention. And that was the first time that even the government of India admitted that is something, some special attention is required for the people from the Northeast India. We never asked for special attention. We never asked for special provisions. We only asked for equal treatment because we belong to citizens of this country, right? So this is our right. So then, when it caught the national attention, what happened? Do you know Bessborough Committee? There's a committee called Bessborough Committee. We've been repeatedly saying about this. Okay, so that was a time when a committee was constituted by the Ministry of Home Affairs. And Bes Barua is a retired IS officer from Assam, headed the committee, including the mother of Nido Tanya. She was also one of the members. And I was also one of the committee members. So that was the committee. Okay, so that is the committee which has more than thousands of recommendations, right, to have a fast record, to have a designated port for the Northeast people, to have a public prosecutor from the Northeast, or if we do not have, then there should be a person from the who has a close attachment, right, with the issues of the Northeast. So many things happened. Then on, there was a unit called the Special Police Unit for Northeastern Region, right? It's 1093. People talk about Special Police Unit, you call it Spooner, right? So it was the High Court of Delhi because of the representation from all the different representatives from all the states of the Northeast went to the court, High Court of Delhi, and the High Court of Delhi took a suo motu, and that was when the Special Police Unit scrapped, okay? And after the constitution of Bes Barua Committee, there was a recommendation for special recruitment of Northeast police in Delhi. So that is why now you have more than 1,000 Northeast people in Delhi police. And recruitment took place because it is a special recruitment. So it took place in Northeast India, not in Delhi, okay? So 2 times it has already happened. You have more than 500 women from the Northeast in the Delhi police, okay? Including those land, meaning is more than 1,000. And I'm sure you know the office which is there in Nanapura, right? You have the Special Police Unit office. So that is actually, it does not come by itself, right? If there was no racial discrimination, I will not be starting the Northeast Support Center and Helpline, isn't it? We know that something is wrong. That is why it started. If there was no racial discrimination, there will not be Special Police Unit for Northeastern regions, Punar, and the number 1093. Okay, so that is, and also there is supposed to be, not only in Delhi alone, but rest of the countries, this kind of unit. And also some model point is supposed to be there in the rest of the country, but that does not happen. Now, I'm sure you all must have faced racially motivated, right? That some kind of slurs. Did you face it? How many of you? Can you raise hands? So, do you think the law is enough? If you're facing racial discrimination, right? If somebody is calling you Chinky Chowmin, go back to China. Do you go to file a complaint to the police station? You have not. Or suppose if you are called names like that, will you go to the police station and file an FIR? No, you will not file. Okay, if you're going to file an FIR, then what kind of sections will you invoke? What sections will you invoke for the racially motivated crimes? None. So this is the problem. That is why we know that law is not enough, right? Law is not enough to address when you are called Chinky Chowmin, right? When you're beaten for looking different, when you're kicked out for cooking something, some food, right? This is the only country which they call us or address us by the name of foods. We don't call them rasma, right? We don't call them chawal or roti, right? But we got being called food, momo. Of course, momo is not our staple food. Okay, but meaning this is the misunderstanding and many things happen. We cannot wait for another statistics to happen. So that is why you have to know your rights. What are the rights available then? Because I will not go too much of, into the situations or the problems that he faced because they have been dealing with it. And you know the case which we are also handling right now with my friend Eliza and Samuel and all of us from the team came from the Northeast Support Center and Helpline. One girl was back on, she was got coronavirus. It went all inside her body, right? But then what sections do we have? We do not have. So it was only invoked under 509. That is for outraging the modesty of a woman. So that is actually the situation. Okay. What do we do then in that kind of situation? What are the remedies? There are too many cases if I have thought about it. I'll leave more space for open discussion. What rights do you have? Can you tell me one of them? You have heard about your rights in the morning. And the lever goes Even my other two colleagues already talked about our rights. Do you remember anything? What provisions? Under which protection will we come under if such crimes happen? If you face any of this situation? I'm not talking about any law. You don't have to be a lawyer. Just a common person, simple person, does not know any law. All right, you have to know, okay? So that is your constitutional rights. You read the Constitution of India, then there are few very prominent articles that you should know. That is Article 14, that has been repeatedly told. That is what? We're all equal, isn't it? So that is what? There is no different law for people who look different. It's the same law. So we need to be equal. We need to be treated equally before the law. Okay? So we have the equal law. That is Article 14. Then what about Article 15? Should not be permission of discrimination on grounds of race, religion, right? Caste, etc., or your place of birth. You're born from Manipur, you should not be discriminated because you're not born in UP or Rajasthan or Delhi. Okay, keep that in mind. That is your right. We cry for amendment of law. If they did not use the IBC or PNS, whatever, if they did not invest in sections is not involved, then nothing will happen, isn't it? But your constitutional rights is the most important thing for you to know, to claim in that one. Okay, that is your right. Then the other one is equal opportunity, Article 16. Just keep that in mind, 1 to 3. Like he was saying, my colleague was saying now, 1930. The Dandina, she was saying, right? In order to remember the helpline number for cybercrime. Like that. No, you have to just be automatic. Okay? Then the other one is Article 19. Because of that, you're all here. You have the freedom to move in any territory of India. Right? You have the freedom to reside. You have the freedom to work and earn. So that is your right. If somebody is kicking you out and said, go back to Manipur, don't you need to go back. You have your article here. I have my right. I will stay here. I will go wherever I want to go, right? I will do whatever I want. I will stay wherever I want to stay. Because this is my constitutional right. As long as I am in this country. Isn't it? You have your passport, your Indian passport. You are a citizen of this country. Never feel less. Never feel small. Never broke down, I'm telling you. When you know your rights. But not something that is beyond your rights, okay? Because our people are so fast. When some people are talking many things, we do already punch, no? Head will already come out, right? So there is the problem. Let us know about the rights. Instead of, emotionally getting all drenched, we have to be very sharp, okay? We have to know about this one. Then, most important article. That is Article 21. That is perfection of life. Personal liberty, that is where you are going to continue to use it. That is what you are going to say, okay? So nobody has the right to discriminate you. And Article 29, that is cultural and educational rights. So just try to know all these things. I don't have to read it out because you already have. And what are the other things? Criminal law remedies. In this, I know, categories are very limited, okay? So they will say, assault and physical violence, for example, criminal intimidation, right? I'm just going to read it out. Sexual harassment, hate speech, wrongful restraint, public humiliation, online harassment, cyberbullying, all these things are there. But there is no as such for calling somebody so-and-so, right? Calling some kind of racially, motivated crime. Nothing is written here. So that is limited. That is why I started in the beginning, that you don't have not have enough law, okay? But for people who belong to the category of SC category, you have the Atrocities, Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act. This is 1989. Try to read it. When a person from other categories, okay, harass you, intimidate you, just think, what will be the provisions? Since you do not have enough law. Don't say that we do not have law. So enough law, that is why even if somebody is calling me, somebody has done this and that, I will not be able to file a complaint. If you don't file a complaint, then you say that there is no law, there is no racial discrimination. It's okay, even if you don't get any justice, for example, I'll say, you have to at least file a complaint. If you feel that, you're being discriminated, so that they know that cases are also rising. Otherwise, if you don't report, then they will say that there is no case. That same thing happened. Right now, we have this called monitoring committee, which I am also one of the members. This is The Supreme Court mandated the monitoring committee. And now we have an email. Nobody is writing an email. So now they will obviously think that there is no crimes, there's no issues with the notice community. Even special police unit will go one day, I'm telling you, mark my words. We're just holding on to it, saying that no, it is still needed. People are still facing problems. Otherwise, they will take away, they will shut down the special police unit. Remember that. With tears and, sweat and all the things, we caught this one. Day and night without sleeping. We protested because of that. The special police unit came into being. It has not just come by itself and like a Christmas gift. They come and wrap it and hand it over to you. It's not like that. It was the fight of the people. Okay. So that is the reason. Of course, we worked for the amendment of IPC. I will not go deep into that. Okay, we have right now 196 DNS. We call it 153C, which we wanted to amend, and it's still in the talk. But then the new criminal laws, 3 criminal laws already passed. So till now it is not accommodated. That is why I'm saying that we have to know where you should try to assert your rights through the available provisions. You think they will make a new law? No. So they will not make a new law, okay, for addressing the racial discrimination. So you have to now know how to assert your rights, how to use it with available provisions that they have. Amendment is there, but I'm not going to go into that. The other one is human rights. Human rights remedies. Have you checked the website of National Human Rights Commission? Any one of you aware of it? Right? You have never been, right? So you need to also know how to, okay? If there are many provisions, there are categories where you can definitely approach the National Human Rights Commission, okay? Then the other one, if you are in the state, there is the State Human Rights Commission. Then you have the National and the State Women's Commission that you can do. You can definitely, especially for women, you can file a representation if any one of you are harassed. If police are not taking any interest, or if authorities are not taking any issue, there is an online portal, okay, for that. Then you have minority commissions. There you can also go. Then you have that ST/SC commissions. So there are many few things that they can definitely avail. Okay, I'm not saying that these things will bring you all solutions, but these are few things that you can definitely knock on the door. And the other one is judicial remedies that I was talking about, and I'm going to come to my BIL. That is in Supreme Court, that is under the fundamental rights, that is Article 32 of the Constitution of India, that I had filed a public interest litigation, and the person who represented my case is none other than Advocate Pachang. He is the one who is representing at the Supreme Court of India, okay? So that my PIL is lying, that is Alana Golmei versus Union of India. So that is actually to issue guidelines to the Union of India, right? Okay, for people who are facing problems. There's so many things in the prayers and in the ground. So we are still yet to get it, but that is in the process. It is going on the right track. And he is representing me, my petition from the Supreme Court. Understand? So you people might be sitting in this room. Okay, you may be going here and there doing your own work. But that kind of judgments that is going to come is the protection for you, is the one that is going to help you. So try to understand. I'm not saying that we're doing a lot of big things, but at least one person is doing something. 2 persons are doing something, right? Even though we do not know, but this is for the entire country. This is for the people of the Northeast, and not for Northeast people alone. If a guidelines is issued, like for the Vishaka guidelines, why? Because she talked about it, right? Sexual harassment and workplace. That became just one woman story, right? Was that landmark judgment that has come, and the outcome is to have a committee and also prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. That is the work, okay? That is one footstep of one woman that came. The same way, whatever petition, whatever things that were pursuing through this, because that was also judicial remedies, this is also judicial remedies. If not, if you're also aggrieved, you can also approach the High Court. There's so many High Courts, right? In all the states. So this is Article under 226, okay? So if you're aggrieved, you can definitely go and file it. Okay, so these are some of the things, and now workplace and educational remedies, just wanted to take, not necessarily because of only for us, but you should know, police, that it should be internal grievance committee mechanism, no? Besides the sexual harassment committee, then you will be anti-ragging. You should know, if it is not that you have to point out, right? We make law, people make law. We are the one who is raising our voice. When it is not sufficient to protect our rights, it's us who is protesting. That is where we're getting that rights, right? So you should do university disciplinary bodies, for example. Then you have of course, the committee, internal committee that should point it out. Labor law protections, it is there, should be there in every institution. If it is not there, then definitely you have to ask why it is not there. You should know, okay? So all the guidelines are there and why it is not available. The other one is, of course, when you go to international human rights protections, we have something called International Convention on the elimination of all forms of racial discrimination. Okay? So this is under the United Nations framework. And this one, India is a party to it. So definitely you can also take out some of these points and try to understand. And you can definitely use this also, because this is for your knowledge. This comes under remedies, this comes under their rights. Okay? So that if you know, it will be very important. And I understand their practical challenges, like when to find complaint at the police station, somebody will sing a song or do some kind of thing, but then where is the evidence? Difficult, isn't it? If I'm bullying you singing, you probably get the evidence. If you have to go to the police station, they'll ask you for evidence. You have to go to the court, they'll ask for evidence. These are challenges, right? I'm just pointing out, okay, some of the challenges. And police will not recognize it. Police will never say that there is a racial angle. Then, of course, lack of legal awareness. So delay the judiciary systems. It takes a long time. So these are some of the challenges. But I understand we cannot bring a change at one go. There are need for reform. But in the meanwhile, I'm only saying that we should know our rights. Okay? You continue to face going and ask about racial discrimination. What I think about you, you cannot change me, right? If I want to be racist, I will continue to do so. So it remains. It is in the mindset. And law will not be able to bring change, but definitely, of course, law will be able to set an exemplary actions, and it is a deterrent actually for the people who have committed that to the perpetrators. So we should continue to assert our rights. We should continue to exercise whatever provisions is available, okay, under the constitutional India and your constitutional rights.